All right. Thank you all so much for being here and for sticking with us this whole time. I'm seeing all your names popping up. We so appreciate you being here. Um, Again, I'm Maya. You saw me talk multiple times. I started Echo with Zoe in 2019 and was the associate director this past 2020 season. I use she, her pronouns. And yeah, I'm just going to start by welcoming you all in the audience. Again, just cannot express our gratitude enough for your support. And going to welcome our panel. So all of these lovely ladies you see on the screen are artists that contributed to making all of the work that you just watched. And yeah, I just want to say, first of all, also, I just find it so magical that like this group of artists that mostly didn't even know each other, like not even 2 years ago, have come together and formed such a strong community. And I think that if we didn't have such a close personal bond with one another, we wouldn't have been able to be so flexible and pivot to creating this hour of work. So just thank you all to the beautiful Echo, everybody who has participated in creating this work. Anyway, jumping right into it, this is going to be an open Q&A panel. I encourage all of you to ask any and all questions. We welcome all respectful inquiries that, it could be about a specific piece you just watched. It could be about the process. You could direct a question directly to one of us, or you could just leave it open and I will call on someone. And yeah, so again, I'm just gonna go around. We're gonna introduce everyone who's on the panel. I'm Maya, and let me pass it off to Sarah.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I use pronouns she and her. I guess, I live in Chicago. I'm in California right now, just, enjoying winter and the warmth. But yeah, I'm was involved with Echo's first season. I actually created that piece Ascend for the live performance and, had to reconstruct it for a video, as we all know. So that's a little bit about me. I have a new entity of my own called Unearth, and it is an art festival and collective associated with sort of environmental change and sustainability. Yep, that's me.
Kerryn, you wanna start?
Yeah, I'm Kerryn, and this is Valentine. She's a green cheek conure. Yeah, I hope to do camera and video editing for a few of these pieces that you saw. I ended up meeting Zoe a couple nights after I moved in. We kind of just ran into each other when we were kind of coming in, coming out, and it was on Halloween. She was going out to CVS or something to get like a costume. Got a last minute, and that's how we met, and we exchanged numbers. And then since then, I've been involved with her and involved in Echo. I've gone to like a few of their dance sessions because although I can't dance, I do love dance and I love music and I love to be a part of creation and community. So I'm really glad that I got to be a part of all this, even though I can't dance, but I was able to contribute it doing things I do love to do, what I can do, which is editing and camera work.
Hi everyone, my name is Hayley. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm the current associate director of Echo, and I was a founding member of Echo. I really loved being in all of these pieces. It was so fun to film outside and get to dance with people after being inside my apartment alone so much. So yeah, it was really such a pleasure to be a part of this.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I use she, her pronouns as well. And I'm a member of Echo since the beginning too. And yeah, I'm just really appreciative to have kind of a space to dance still, since a lot of us are pursuing other career paths and other things in our lives. So it's a very unique community for us to have, and we're very lucky that we all got to start it together.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm a founding member of Echo, choreographer, worked on the Cocoon piece, like directed it, choreographed, edited it, and then I was a part of some of the other pieces that you saw today. Really love Echo. I mean, we all do. It's been a nice home coming out of college and finding a space where I can dance with people who are pursuing non-dance careers. So I've really loved this whole experience and our first season, and very excited for what's to come. So I'll pass it off to Zoe to finish us off.
Hi, I'm Zoe. You know me already from Reverb. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm just overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. I'm just so overwhelmed with the turnout and all of the support and all of the amazing artists that are here and that worked on this. And I'm just thank you. And I'm excited for this panel.
All right. So again, welcome. If you are just hopping on, we're so happy to have you here. And I believe there's a Q&A feature where you can directly type in questions, so it's easier to see and they don't get lost in the chat. But I see some of you already put the questions in the chat, so I will get to those as well. But let's start. Leticia. Her first question was, can you speak a bit more on why you chose the spaces you did and why you chose an outdoor environment versus an indoor one? Let's see, do any of you particularly want to hop on to those? Shy, do you want to try that one?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the space was huge for mine because it was all indoor and in our own homes. Zoe, like I said, filmed in Canada in her home, and I filmed mine in my 1-bedroom apartment. And so the space was really crucial to getting the message across that I wanted to with Cocoon, was showing these like raw introspective moments in a confined space, but making it more uplifting and hopeful while showing the full range of emotions that we were all feeling at the time. So I felt like that was an easy decision for me because, one, it's convenient. I don't have to leave my house, and especially when we're being told not to leave our houses. And at the same time, it made sense for what I was trying to go with the message.
Yeah. Another question from the chat here is, how long did each piece take to record? I feel like Sarah has an interesting answer for this one.
A year. Yeah, I actually started filming like the first part of my 3-part piece last February. So before we even went into lockdown or anything, I wanted to have it for myself, because I love dance and film. But then we went into lockdown, and I had to grieve the fact that this piece would not be shown live for about 6 months. And then in the summer, I was like, you know what, I need to make some art. And so I filmed the middle section in the summertime. And then I filmed the last section in October on Halloween. So it's been pretty much a year-long process, but it's been great because it's given me the opportunity to really like sit still with the piece. I have a tendency to rush things. I am not a patient person, and I don't like to be perfect in my art, but this was an opportunity to really try a different approach. So yeah, it took me a year.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Noah asks, was it difficult to do Cocoon being in different cities in terms of syncing it up and giving notes? Zoe, do you want to take this one?
I almost feel like Shy should answer this one because she directed it. Shy, can I validate to you?
Yeah, I mean, so I just shared, okay, so Zoe and I did a Zoom session to go over structured choreo. And then I literally shared the concept with her. She was on the same page with me about it. And then I shared iPhone notes with her. We just had shared iPhone notes in terms of structured improvisation to do. And it came together so organically when editing. Like I had to change up the speed towards the end with the full structured piece for sure. But in terms of the improvisation matching up to music, it just worked so organically. Like there was a phrase that Zoë did, and like it just, I mean, there were many phrases that just worked so well with the music when you paired it together. It was a beautiful construction. Like I'm still surprised, minus my computer crashing a lot. It was fairly easy in terms of matching movement, Zoe's movement, especially to the music, even from afar. So very, good luck.
Yes, I love that. This one is for Kelly specifically. What was the process of working with your dad like for you?
Yeah, it was actually really fun and just kind of a coincidence because, you know, we're working on a lower budget here. So Zoe kind of just asked me originally if I know anyone with a camera even. And I was like, oh, actually my dad's very into photography. I can see if he, you know, could maybe switch over to videography for us for this piece we want to do. So yeah, we kind of just like worked on it on the spot because there's a lot of adjusting to do with the lighting, and we were working with a sunrise. So we kind of just adjusted as we went. And yeah, it was really fun to work together on something and actually have a product. And hopefully in the future we can do some photo shoots and stuff too, because it was very nice to work with him on something.
Yeah. Here's another good one we have. How did you have to modify and change to dance for videography rather than a live audience? I think that's super interesting, and maybe we'll have a dancer answer as well, but I'm going to pass this to Kerryn because I feel like she'd have an interesting perspective to share.
I guess it's different because when you're watching live on stage, you're only watching from one angle. So it's kind of, as you're filming it, you watch the choreography and you think, well, how would it look differently if we filmed it a different way? And how are all these angles going to combine together to create a cohesive piece? So it's all about looking at the movement, because a lot of times I hadn't seen the choreography before I got there. So I'd usually take it in and then just do what comes to mind and how I feel with the music and how the like moves make me feel, and then that would dictate how we shoot that specific song.
Yeah, totally. It's really interesting to hear it from your perspective as well, because like for me as a dancer, when it's being filmed, it feels so permanent. It's kind of like this high pressure that is a little bit different than the ephemeral nature of performance, where if you mess up, like probably you're the only one who's going to notice. But when I like am seeing films over and over and I'm like, oh, I did that thing wrong or whatever, but it's definitely like an interesting adjustment, but also like a cool way, I think, that I'm like growing my dance skills and vocabulary. Okay, a couple people have asked about the music and how everyone made musical selections. And this one specifically asks Sara. Sivan writes, your music choices and the fact that you took us on a journey transitioning through different spaces, music, costumes. What inspired you to choose those particular locations, costumes, and songs?
That's a lot of questions, but I'm here to answer all of them. I feel like I'm a child from the 70s, if you can't tell. I have a love of folk music, and I specifically love, I love Joni Mitchell. I love Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Those are two of my favorite groups of artists of all time. But I guess, I feel like this past year for me has been a huge growing process. And so these songs have sort of helped carry me through these processes. So I chose the first song, Find the Cost of Freedom, because it reminds me of sort of like this idea of, this concept of, I don't feel great in this place. I want to transcend. I want to grow. I want to get to a new place. And with that, in terms of like the costuming and the location, I wanted it to be kind of gritty in terms of the location, which is why I chose like underneath the L train and by murals and just sort of in the dirt, because I feel like this is kind of the point in a journey of growth where you're like, time to hunker down. This is what I want. How do I change? And the costuming, if you look back, it's all black and there are pops of color. And the pops of color represent sort of like this unspoken subconscious identity that you have for the desires that you obtain, and like basically these innate desires that you're moving towards. And so while the black is sort of like, you know, all of us are moving along in life, the colors represent the individualism. And then for the second part of the piece, Woodstock, that song just reminds me of sort of the journey. You know, the song was written about the music festival Woodstock, but it was all about the people getting there. And once they got there, everyone was, you know, happy and joyous. But there's a specific line in that song that talks about getting back to the garden. And that reminds me of this idea of like getting back to home base, getting back to our desires. And within that part of the piece, I chose to do it sort of in this contrast of busyness, which is the cityscape, and then the lake, which reminds me of sort of this like garden, and everyone's in full like monotone color that sort of represents their identity and moving towards that identity. And then finally, sorry, there's a lot, but finally in the last part, it's sort of like, it's the reflection. So it's all about, you know, coming home to yourself, shedding off your ego, shedding off all of these sort of materialistic things that can, you know, help us or hinder us in getting towards these desires or growing in this expansion. And that's why there's a lot of neutrals. And that's why I chose to do it in sort of like a home setting and nature setting, because those places I feel like are comfort and safety, and that's sort of what I was trying to represent. So hopefully that answers it all, but yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, there's so much to that piece. Okay, I'm going to direct this one to Hayley. So Nate says, how do you think this time period will affect your future performances in terms of, do you plan to continue creating videos and digital performances alongside traditional live shows? And he also noted that a lot of people were able to watch tonight that might not have otherwise been, which I just also want to say is so great. Like, all of you who are here, maybe not in Chicago, really, thank you for being here, and we're excited to have you.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. I think it would be so great if we could do something like this moving forward, where like people, a lot of us, like I have family not in Chicago, so it's really great that a lot of people were able to come and like watch all of our dances without physically being here. Yeah, I would love to, like, even pieces that we choreograph for like the show that we're gonna have live eventually, like it would be so amazing to just be able to film something and edit it. And I feel like we have a lot more like resources now to put that together, and we have more contacts, and we have Zoe edited some of them and Cheyenne edited some of them. So like our dancers are also editing as well now. So yeah, I would really love to do more film art, even like once we can meet in person.
Yes, I'm also excited about that. So Rose asks, what did the process look like collaborating between choreographers, directors, and or editors? I'm going to take this one. That is such a great question, and like just something I had a lot of fun with. So yeah, we got to work with all of these artists who are very skilled in mediums that most of us don't have a lot of experience with. And it was so cool seeing like my work as a choreographer translated through the eyes of the various videographers and cinematographers, directors that we worked with. So I got to work with Daniel Williams for my first piece that you saw, Expanse, and I've actually known him for like a really long time, and it's just been very cool to see how his like the way that he saw the work that I created then translated into this physical thing. And it's very like validating as an artist to sort of like see someone else's art transposed into yours. It just makes it feel so real, and like I loved that. And then I also want to shout out Terrace, the videographer who did Super Gloop with us. She's also a dear friend of mine, and she was not like super confident that she would be able to do the film because her primary medium is photography. And I was like, you know what? I believe in you. You're talented. You can do this. And I think she did such an amazing job. I think it just looked so cool and like captured it in a way that I couldn't have possibly even imagined. So, and I mean, beyond that, we also had like so many other cool artistic collaborators. We had clothing brands that were partnering with us. We had photographers, of course, Kerryn, who's here, like did so much. So that was very, very cool for me. This is a good one for Zoe. Lauren asked, could you explain how Echo was started and how the collective has grown?
So I love thinking about this. Basically, Maya and I, we were taking a dance class together, and I was kind of like looking at her and noticing her, but we weren't friends yet. And then eventually we started talking, and we realized that there's really nothing for us in this city where we can dance seriously, but not professionally, because we're both pursuing other careers and we don't want to just take class. Like we want to be able to make something in a serious way that still works with our life and our other professional life. And so came up with this idea and just started advertising it. It was kind of crazy how it came to be. My brother Eitan, shout out to him, he made our graphics at first, and we designed our logo together. And then I scouted a bunch of dancers. I essentially stalked a lot of different dancers on Instagram, specifically dancers who were in college and who I knew were pursuing other careers, but they were clearly serious dancers. Somehow the people just came to auditions, and then it just happened. And so, yeah, I started a dance collective at McGill, which is my alma mater in Montreal. And so it has a similar structure to that. And the way that we've grown, I mean, we just had auditions again. We've accepted 8 new dancers, which is just so exciting for us. And we're having our first live show. We're supposed to obviously have our live show last summer, but we're having our first one in September. And yeah, it's just exciting to really feel like we're a part of the Chicago dance community now, and that we're really filling that niche for dancers who need a space. So that's a little bit about how we started.
Yeah, I will just say, like, when I first, when we were first ideating, me and Zoe, like, I never in a million years could have imagined how impactful and like wonderful and big Echo has been in my life. And like, it just grew beyond our wildest dreams. And I think that's because there was a need for a community like this in Chicago where artists could just come together and collaborate in a very like low pressure, but still like integral environment. Here's another interesting one. As choreographers, how much did you visualize what the finished video would look like in terms of cinematography, scene cuts, individual shots? Could you picture a finished product, or did you focus on the choreography and then make decisions editing later on? Do any of y'all feel compelled to answer that one?
I can take this one. I know nothing about videography, nothing at all. I basically I know how to choreograph, and I have ideas about maybe that'd be a cool setting, maybe that would be a cool costume. And then I would just be like, Kerryn, you do whatever you want, just direct it, edit it, however. And it was just, I was surprised every time I would see a finished product and exhilarated and excited. And yeah, I love that. I love not knowing, but I'm sure other people felt differently. So if anyone else wants to take this.
I guess on the side of the editor, it's very interesting. I think it's very important to talk to the choreographer because you're kind of representing their voice in this video format. So me and Zoe, we did a lot of back and forth with sending and back and forth. And one that we worked quite closely on was Rag Bag, in which Zoe tried her hand and edited parts of it. She was like, I'm a choreographer and I'm seeing stuff that I don't like. And me, as not a dancer, I don't notice that kind of thing. I mostly just look at the movement and how things flow together and how they cut. So some things I didn't notice that are important to her. So I tossed it back to her, and then she made some amazing edits that I would have thought of. So then I played off of that. And then so that piece was kind of a collaboration of edits between both of us. And it kind of became a combination of our styles. So it was better than it would have been if either of us did it on our own. So I guess in that sense, I feel like it's really good to like collaborate and talk closely together.
Yes, this is why we love interdisciplinary art. Make such amazing things. All right. Oh, I love this from Nathan. At Hayley, I loved your dance for the song you did from Taylor Swift's Folklore. I'm wondering if making the video, did you feel the choreography was telling the story of the song, or that the song was a kind of anchor for the story you were telling through your movements?
Yeah, so me and Zoe actually talked a lot about this, because like initially I was learning it mostly on Zoom, and I was basing like the story and the emotion on like my perception of the lyrics, which I think like the lyrics in the song are like kind of sad. It's like you can never give the person that you love something, and they'll always have to like deal with this lifestyle that you have. So I was emoting like very sad at first. And then Zoe said she actually envisioned it being more like based on the musicality, which is really like serene and peaceful. So we kind of crafted like a new story about how this, I mean, it is like, it's a beautiful love song. Like there's no anxiety that the person is going to leave, because like there's things you can't give them. And that's, you know, that is like a very peaceful feeling. So we like kind of shifted it to be based on like a different side of the lyrics, which was very cool to get a new perspective on that song and to like be able to bring it to life through the dance.
All right, let's do like 2 more questions, I'd say. Don't want to keep you all too long, but I like this one from Akiva. What is something you learned or discovered about yourselves, your bodies, or the music that you brought to expression in dance? Anybody in particular want to take this one? Kerryn, yeah.
This was my first time ever working on like a dance piece, and I usually love to do like documentary and things about animals and things like that, but I found out I really enjoyed it, especially since I do come from a musical background, as I played multiple instruments. So I did miss that feeling of like performing, but it gave me so much life to like be a part of everyone else performing and showcasing them. So now I know that another thing I could possibly look for in a job or a career is doing music videos or dance videos and things like that. So it kind of gave me another skill set and helped me practice and explore a different medium than I usually go for. So that's what I learned working with Echo.
Yeah. I will also add, like, I think that choreographing with it in mind that it's going to be filmed instead of being live gives you sort of like a different type of freedom where you can maybe take a little bit more risks, like, because if you mess up a turn or something, like, you can reshoot it. So I felt like that was a cool, like, learning to kind of stretch what I'm usually comfortable with in terms of choreography. All right, let's do, unless anybody, if anybody wants to add to that, feel free to jump in, because that's a big question. If not, let's see, I feel like I saw one that I wanted to answer. Okay, this is a good one to end on. Are we looking forward to anything in this coming year other than the live performance? Zoe, do you want to take this one?
I'm looking forward to so many things. I want other dancers to also answer this one. So I am going to answer, but I want you guys to answer too. I'm so excited to make more film art, to start rehearsing again for real, because it's been a year and we're starting in a week, our weekly rehearsals again. I'm so excited to work with the new dancers. And it's just everything. It's even hard for me to say. I just want to be doing this in a more structured way again. And yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to so many things, but I mean, I'm looking forward to getting to know all the new dancers coming in. I'm very excited about that. They all seem awesome. So that's gonna be a great experience. And then also just creating again, like ever since all these like when all these film projects ended, I was like, oh man, like I had just come out of my dance rut where I wasn't dancing for a while or creating. And then all of a sudden I felt so inspired. I felt recharged. So now I'm so excited to start creating again. I already have so many ideas for pieces and working with new dancers and collaborating with them. So I'm really excited for that collaborative aspect, and then just creating in general and putting it on someone else and making something beautiful out of it. So that's what I'm excited about.
I'm really excited just to have our community class back and like our whole team all together, like on a consistent schedule, and like have that sort of community piece back where we're like meeting consistently and like preparing for a big show and just getting to see each other every week. So yeah, I'm very excited to have that back.
Kelly or Sarah or either of you want to add anything to that?
Sure. I guess the thing that I'm most excited about is creating. I just love to create. I'm excited to create potentially for something that is not a video project, hopefully on live dancers. And then I think most importantly, getting back to community. I think that's a huge thing that we as dancers forget creates, the art is the community and the community aspect, and the fact that we're all coming together to support each other and uplift each other and to create something that is so beyond our own scopes. So I think those are the two things in both Echo and outside of Echo that I'm excited about.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get moving again for all those reasons. And I think kind of going back to your other question, Maya, about like what did we take from this lockdown and stuff, I feel like we've all been able to embody movement a lot more. Like we're not in front of the mirror in the studio. So I'm just excited to get back in with that kind of new focus on movement.
No, I'm looking forward to the community classes because I love to dance, but I'm not super great at it. But I will be there once they start doing them again. And I've still looking forward to any possible videos in the future. I'll take whatever's thrown at me because I just really love this community.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just echoing what everybody just said, like I think that like not being in physical space and in like having this joint sort of goal of like a performance to work towards kind of before we started working on Reverb and deciding that we were going to have this project come to fruition, really like cemented for me like, wow, it's actually so important for my sort of like creative mind and even just like my mental happiness to be like working with a team of people that mean a lot to me towards a shared goal. And it's less so about like whatever the final product ends up being and more about like that communal effort and collaboration, and it's just so fulfilling. So I'm really excited to get back to that, and I'm really, really grateful that we were able to have that in a different way through doing this film festival. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you all again. So glad to have you all here, and always feel free to reach out, email us, whatever, DM us on Instagram, come to our community classes. I hope this was an enjoyable evening for you.
If you want to collaborate, also reach out. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.